Good.
So we're going live now. All right, and we're live. Welcome, 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 beautiful Black people. How y'all doing today? Sista Yaa coming back at you with another informative and educational and enlightening episode. We have Brother Kahlil joining us all the way from South Africa. I think you drove to Durban today. Is that correct, brother?
No, I drove from Durban. I'm in Johannesburg now.
Oh, okay. All right. So, Brother Kahlil, welcome to the Sankofa Repatriation Assistance Program today. I just met the brother yesterday through a mutual friend. A close friend of mine is a close friend of his. My friend has been visiting. Him and Brother Kahlil go way back. My friend is from DC. Kahlil is from Baltimore. And my friend, who's the mutual friend of Kahlil, has been visiting Kahlil.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, has been visiting Kahlil in South Africa for some years now. So he said you really need to get this brother on your show so that he, There's a little bit of a delay, guys, in when I'm in the transmission of the stream. So we're gonna try to work with it though. Are you there, Kahlil? Seems like he's frozen up. My glasses. Hopefully he unfreezes here in a second. Brother Kahlil? All right, he'll come back. Listen, guys. Damn Africa, but still, I still prefer Africa. Even with the slow jacked up internet, we're gonna get there. I think Brother Yazzie was saying yesterday that they were putting down fiber optics in his area now. So, we'll get there. We're gonna get there. That's why we need all of you with all your skills and everything to get on back on the continent to help us get her up and going where she needs to be. So anyway, Brother Kahlil, let's just wait for him to come back. He is from Baltimore. He has been living in South Africa. He left the United States and moved to South Africa, and has been there since 2008. So 12 years. And he loves it there and apparently has no interest in coming back over here, which I can't say that I blame him much. So we'll just wait a few minutes for Brother Kahlil to try to get back in. Let's see. There he is. All right, Brother Kahlil.
There we go. All right, I think I can hear now also.
Okay, good.
All right, yeah, sorry, I had to switch signals. My one from my regular phone, I'm just using the Wi-Fi one now. So yeah, sorry, I missed what you said after welcome.
I was just explaining to them how I met you, how I was introduced to you by our mutual friend, Kwesi. And he was telling me that, I really needed to bring you on the show so that people could get the South African experience from an African American. So tell the people, you're originally from Baltimore, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay. And you started traveling to Africa what year?
My first trip out of the country to Africa was 2007. I went to South Africa in February 16th, 2007. Then I went to Ghana in July 27th, July 28th, 2007.
Okay. And then you ultimately went back to live there, correct?
Hello.
Huh? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah. My plan was always to repatriate. Like I never intended on living in Spain. My plan was always to repatriate. Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
My plan was actually always to repatriate. I never planned on living in America. So the whole idea was for me to travel around and see which place I actually liked, and then pick one. So when I got to South Africa, the main thing that caught me by surprise was how much American and European people and everybody else weren't talking about South Africa. They didn't talk about like the modernized roads, the stadiums, the infrastructure, even like how people are here, how people are welcoming, how people are very open to the idea of like global people and international people and foreign people.
Okay. Well, we want to get to that because we do hear a lot about xenophobia in South Africa. But before I get to that part,
Sure.
I want to talk about why you made the decision to leave America. Well, looks like it's frozen again. We just have to. We're gonna manage it. We're gonna get through. Hello, Yusuf. Peace. Greetings, Kwame Olatunji. Hi, brother. How you doing? Let's let brother Kahlil get his internet situation squared away. Hope everybody's doing well. I think he's gonna have to go out and come back in. We got another really good show tomorrow from a brother in Jamaica. Is going to be on the show tomorrow at 10 p.m. I'm sorry, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 9 a.m. in Jamaica, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Expecting that to be a really impactful and enlightening show as well. So definitely plan to come back tomorrow at 10 Eastern Standard Time. Hopefully, brother Kahlil will get his internet here situated. Let's see. Anyway, y'all have any questions while we wait? Hit me up. I'm just sitting here waiting for him to come back. Let's see what's going on. You're quite welcome, Jessica. Hopefully, our brother will get his internet back. Let's see. Because I wanted to address some of those. He said that the South Africans are very welcoming and, open to people from foreign places. But, the image that we normally get about South Africa is not that. It's one of xenophobia, and they don't like other people, other Black people from, other parts of the world and things like that. So I myself am looking forward to hearing what he has to say about that. But the propaganda machine, now they stay lying on us. White people do lie. You know what I'm saying? They stay lying. So especially when it's something about us. So we just got to. It's always good to get firsthand account and get somebody around to tell us what's really going on, what's what, because in fact, South Africa is more developed than the rest. And I know a lot of people from the diaspora who are accustomed to certain amenities and certain standards would probably prefer South Africa. Because of the very good roads and the infrastructure and things like that. Although today this internet is not demonstrative of good internet, but we still gonna work it out. I know it's not all. Fam. We're not even remotely trying to imply that I wasn't anyway that it's all. I know it's not all South Africans. Frank said living in South Africa is like you still live with white folks. Well, I mean, we live in America, we still live with them. And people live in UK still live with them. A bunch of us still living with them. So, you know what I'm saying? But me personally, South Africa has never been on my radar for that reason. Because I feel like if I'm going to pack up and go all the way to Africa, go all the way to Africa and live, I don't want to see white people every day. I mean, the whole point of me is I don't want to see them every day. I want to see my own people. I want to see people who look like me. I don't want to get up every day, go outside and just see them scurrying around. When I was living in Ghana, I can tell you, we would go months. And my kids can take months before we ever saw a white person. That was the best experience of my life. And then, you go so long without seeing them, to when you would see one somewhere, you just be staring like they some type of zoo animal. You be like, stop in your track, like what? Look around like what the fuck? What are they doing here? So, oh, you're back, brother. You're back. Yeah. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I got a clean connection. Good. Be fine. Sorry.
That's okay. We understand. So we were asking, what is it that made you decide that you wanted to live in Africa, repatriate? You did not want to live in the States. You did not want to stay in Baltimore.
All right. Well, I don't know how well y'all know Baltimore on the East Coast, but it's a police state, like the education system's crap. I remember being a kid, like I ain't never let my kids grow up in Baltimore. I'll never let my kids go to these schools I went to. And it's not that I didn't do well. I've got a degree in engineering. I got a Bachelor of Science degree in engineering, Morgan State University. So I went to a historically black college. I went to all the public schools. I went to Northern High School, the one in the middle where, the kids would be fighting on the street. They'd make the news. I went to all the bad schools. I just got a really good education because my parents pushed that. It was a matter of, do I want to live in a police state for the rest of my life? Am I willing to deal with white supremacy on a level that I know that the only way we win this is with an armed struggle, and they got the numbers, and they got the military, and they got the police. And even if we were to fight them for all of this, what do we get? We get America? Like that's right. Like we're going to get the Mississippi River and the two lame points and the lame oceans, in the place where we got forced to go. So right. It didn't seem to make sense to me to try to have some type of political, armed, intellectual struggle for that dump. And no offense to the people that still live there, but when you come to Africa, you understand what paradise looks like. You get that feeling like you're home. And I never felt like I was home there. My family's there. I love my family. I miss them. But that's it. I don't ever get an itch to go to the Baltimore Harbor and go get no crabs and nothing like that. It just isn't that kind of thing. So for me, I was raised that way. My family were like, those people that were part of the Black Panthers. They were starting to slow down. My pop's a serious radical. My grandmom's in the Black Panthers. So we were always saying repatriation. We were always part of the black movement, to go back. I'm not like a card carrying member of nobody, but the idea is that we were raised so that when it was time and we could make a move, we'd make a move if we could. That home was home and everywhere else was a foreign place.
Yeah. And having lived in Ghana, I'm with you. I that was the first time, and I grew up in the military. I've lived all over. I've traveled. I grew up in the military. I was in the military, but the first time I ever felt like, man, I can relax. I'm at home was when I stepped on the continent of Africa. It's something that if you've never experienced it, you just don't know it, and you don't know what we're talking about until you experience it. So I know exactly what you're talking about, and not having to, look over your shoulder all the time. Now, the fact of the matter is, there are a lot of non-Black people in South Africa. So why did you pick that place as opposed to one of the other ones with less of those people?
Well, for me, I went to South Africa first, so I was kind of jaded. I'm not gonna lie. When I got here, it was nice. They were busy working on the airport at the time, so it was a little odd trying to get up out of there. But the main thing that got me was that Africans in South Africa, Black people in South Africa, they're very accommodating, inviting, and nice. They're like, oh, you're from America. Oh, well, welcome home. It's not that kind of fake, okay, how are we going to get money from you? Okay, how do we get you to the tourist trap? How do we make money off you? How are we going to, do something to get over on this guy? People are genuinely just nice. People to the point when I was lost trying to find the apartheid museum, for instance, a guy was trying to direct me, and he's like, nah, you take this road. He's like, you know what? Let's just go. And he went with me. He literally, physically took me to go there. And then he went back and went about his business. He wasn't going there. Yeah. And that's a South African thing. That's how people are. People are accommodating first. You come to the house, you eat. You come to the house, you get something to drink.
But isn't that
an African thing? Street, they just talk.
Isn't that like an African thing? Because Ghanaians will do the same thing.
Yeah, it's a Black thing, honestly. Not everywhere. See, it's funny because I've been to Egypt, and of course, Arabs are Arabs. We're not gonna waste time talking about them. But when I met the people from Aswan, from Upper Egypt,
the Nubians, the real Egypt,
they were cool, but they were like, you.
They were like what?
So they weren't like the same. They were like. Yeah, hi, y'all Black too, but yeah, y'all from America, and that was it, and in Ghana also, when you get to Accra and places like that, it's all good, but when we went out to Yefa Agyamu, and we met some Iwe people, they were kind of yeah, hi, but they weren't yeah, y'all home, and then that's the first time when I heard somebody say, I think it's when they called us Ubuni, they called us white people. South Africans aren't like that. Because you got that British accent or an American accent. They don't think less of you like you're not Black. It's more okay, well, yeah, we get it. You was over there. What's funny is when I meet South Africans that are from a rural part of the country, not from the big city, they're always okay, so in America, what do you speak besides English? And I'm like, no, we only speak English. They're like, huh? Nothing but English. I'm like, yeah, that's the only language that they teach, the only one we know. So there's no Black language. They're so confused because they can't believe that we lost all of it. And it's hard to try to tell them that, 400 and something years worth of getting it beat out you, we just don't have it. And then they're like, okay, well, good. Teach you.
Yeah.
Like that. It's never a problem. Let's move up to,
Now my son went to South Africa, and him and his wife,
so
and they really
for
enjoyed
me, South Africa.
What were you saying, brother?
They really what?
They really liked it.
Sorry, you said your son went to South Africa.
My son went to South
Right, I think
Africa.
we're stuck in the delay somewhere.
Yeah, there's some delay. So what I'll tell you is, my son went to Morocco. He's been to Tanzania. He's been to Rwanda. He's been to South Africa, Kenya, and pretty much consistent with the way he was treated amongst Black people. Embracing, very curious, wanted to know. They all assumed he was Nigerian just by looking at him physically. They were like, "Oh, you're Nigerian," but he was like, "No, I'm from America." But he did, I guess everybody's experience is a little bit different, because I have been with some people in Ghana initially, and you go out to the village and somebody may say, "Oh, Bruni," but they don't mean it in a bad way. They just mean that you're a foreigner. You're not from there. And so, but I take that as a teaching moment. I educate them and say, no, we are not Obruni. Don't call us Obruni, and that's offensive, because we don't consider ourselves foreigners. We're Black like you, and we are just coming back home. And then when you explain it to them like that, they're okay. They don't mean anything. You see, they don't mean anything negative by it. They're not trying to hurt your feelings. They're not trying to insult you. It's just that that's the term that they use for somebody who's not from Ghana, from Ghana. Even they have a term now. My husband has been away for been over here living, but now since he's been living over here, he goes back. They call him. They have some word they call bugger or something like that, meaning somebody who has lived abroad or whatever. So they're not trying to insult you. They just have these terms to identify people. But I just take that as a teaching moment to let them know that we don't like it. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. Like, it's the same thing here. Like, I hate to say stuff like this, but it's the truth. Like, so many times people are expecting you to come from America, and they're looking for those 50 Cent types, those street hood types, and they die and they just walk up to you and be like, "Hey, and say the N-word to you. And it's so hard for them to like deal with the fact that on all the movies, that's how they talk.
Yeah.
In all the songs, that's how they talk. And I got to be like, look, like, don't listen to what's on TV, what's on movies. We find that offensive. There's people that are like that, but we accept that condition of ignorance on them because we have trauma. So we don't blame our own people for having the trauma that we had. It was serious. But, when you meet a person and everything else, that's not something you can say in front of your parents. It's not something you can say on a bus. It's not something you can say to anybody. And they're like, oh, no, we didn't know. And then, then there's that Black intellectual class from the North, we call them. They're from Northern Johannesburg. They're from like Sandton, that bougie area. And they try to like turn around and flip it like, yeah, but that's how y'all use it though. So we don't mean it that way. We mean it this way. And sometimes you gotta school them like, look, stop acting like you're an American. Don't start trying to act like you're a Black person or you're a Black American. You don't understand that. You don't get that. I can tell you about it, but there's nothing you've seen on TV that can explain to you what that's like. And then, of course, they have their own racial disparity here, the one that starts with a K.
Yeah,
and when I flip it on them like that, like that's the same thing. White people remember that, and once they get it, it becomes like a whole intellectual thing. And it's another thing I love that they'll go there with you, like, okay, we'll break it down, and then we have this exchange of like culture, and it's like, okay, yeah, now I understand now, and then we move forward from there. People are never like, yeah, that's that. They don't like being called, it's not like that. It becomes like a thing, and they tell people as well, and it's like, yeah, Americans, they don't like that. You can't listen to rap music thinking that's the way. And then each one, they run it down the line and show each other. So the main thing about South Africans is South Africans are very conscious about being disrespectful and about, being cordial. They don't like to be rude. You know, to be rude is a big deal here. You know, like you're not just supposed to jump out and say whatever you want. You're not supposed to curse around elders. You're not supposed to use that street language and that stuff around certain people. So everybody is very respectful to each other. Black, you know, it's an art. They look at you like you've lost your mind. You know, and because of that, if you this is on the radio show in New York, I can't remember the name of it, that famous show, and he was like, they were asking him, look, where can you go in the world where black people are treated nicely and you ain't going to catch hell and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, I wanted to call in. It was like a YouTube video. I was like, you know, the one real place where you go and people love black people from America, people love Africans from America, is actually everywhere in Africa. Like, you know, you got to understand that nobody sees us and they're like, get away, why you guys here? People love to see us. They are dying to meet the kind of people that they see on TV. You know, like, I used to tell my friends, like, if you got bad self-esteem, you just come to South Africa. They treat you like a celebrity off the break. Just because you're from America, it's like you're instant celebrity here. You know, it's just that kind of, they have a thing where they can identify with us because of that struggle and powerful white regime thing. They get that. They understand that slum thing, that ghetto thing, that, you know, you have to try to make it knowing people won't help you, struggling for education. Like, you know, it's all very present for them. It's only 25, 26 years since they've had the right to vote. So it's a big deal to them. Right. You know what it's like? It's like America in the early 80s, like minus the crack epidemic is what it's like here. So they're feeling that. And when they look to it, they're like, you guys did the same thing. How'd it work out for y'all? You know, and it's hard breaking some of those things that are on TV and those stereotypes because they only know from television. And it's recent television, not television from 50s, 60s, 70s.
We have to this is why it's so important.
One of the things I like to do is, like, South Africans.
I'm sorry, there's a little bit of a delay, brother. That's why I thought you had stopped, and I wanted to say this is why we have to guard our image to the world, because in fact it is true. These movies and all these images and the way that they present us as Black Americans to the world, and so when we show up, they're thinking what they saw on TV, but that's because we're not guarding our image. We're not protecting our image, and far too many of us are accepting roles in movies and TV shows that are projecting a certain image of us to the world. And so I was a little taken aback when I went to Ghana and I saw these young Ghanaian boys walking around with sagging pants, and I'm like, oh my fucking God, you know, like not over here too. But I don't think a lot of Black Americans realize how much other Black people look up to us and want to imitate us. I don't think our people realize that.
It's crazy because, you know, like South Africa, we got people from everywhere in Africa live in South Africa. Nigerians, Kenyans, Zimbabweans, Malawians, like people from the Congo. A good friend of mine's from DRC. And when the Yankee cap swept from New York to like Jamaica to when MTV and BET came to side, all the Nigerians had a Yankee cap. They were trying to be like Jay-Z. You know, like all the people had these baseball caps and these red caps from the Cubs and everything. You know, sometimes I'd be like, do you even know what that symbol means? Or, you know, that team? But our fresh is globally fresh, you know, and there's a certain swag that we got, energy that we got, and we don't even know how much equity comes from that. You got to understand that when the Air Yeezys come out in New York, there's no 6-7 year delay no more. When the Air Yeezys come out there, they come out here, and people are like, yo, you see these shoes, this thing, this is hot. You know, they're up to date now. So whatever we display, whatever we put out, people are on it now. And that same kind of colorful way that we created style and everything else, people idolize that, and in a good way. You know, It's not that
but
trying
also,
to coon at.
also some of the bad behavior too. Like you said, what's up, my nigga, you know, that and the sagging pants and some of the bad behavior. That's why it's important that we control how we're presented in the world, because they are watching us and they are imitating us.
Yes, indeed. Like what I love about America right now with black people is black people have swept the natural hair thing. The football players got dreads. The basketball players got dreads. People on TV got dreads. There's dreads in the subway, dreads on the bus, dreads on the street. I've never seen so many people with dreads. When I started my dreads in '95, it was me and all the guys from Jamaica that had it, and we were Insta family no matter where we went. You know, so now people are seeing that. It's like, yeah, don't be going to go cut your hair and put yellow in it and do all this other weird kind of stuff. Go ahead and embrace that nappy nature that's us. Go ahead and embrace that beauty that's natural. And, you know, we're still having a little trouble with the sisters this side. They're still trying to, you know, do their Beyonce thing and their weave thing. But it's part of that growing up and coming into a modern age where we're having to redefine beauty. So Miss South Africa this year was a girl with a short haircut from Eastern Cape. Very like, you know, very Southern African cheekbones and facial structure and a nice little short little fade haircut, because that's how they cut their hair for the schoolgirls where she's from. And for her to Miss South Africa without a weave, without curly hair and everything else, she shocked the world. She then went on to go win Miss World. And it was like smack in the face to everybody that is trying to push these yellow, you know, sharp nose hair tendencies. You know, she's a pretty round girl with beautiful teeth.
I was so proud, man. I was so proud of that sister. I ain't gonna lie. I was so proud of that sister, because as far as I'm concerned, she is the standard of beautiful as far as I am concerned. And this is what all young black girls need to see in this world. They need to see our sisters rocking their own natural hair, not with a ton of makeup on their face. Be proud of the skin that you're in. Stop this bleaching madness, you know, destroying your beautiful skin. You know, when I'm in Ghana, when I see sisters rocking their own hair, I make a point of telling that sister how beautiful her hair is and how I just love her hair and how nice it looks. I go out of my way to do that, because it's so many running around with the weave on, you know what I mean, all the time. It's okay to do that shit sometime, but if you can't never wear your own hair, like you got to, every time you go out, you got to stick an ugly ass wig on or some weave, and you can't never wear your own hair, it's a problem. So if you want to wear it sometime, if you want to switch it up and do it sometime, okay, but let your scalp breathe, man. Let your scalp breathe. Get some air. Oh, y'all know Sister Yaa crazy. Don't get offended if you got weave on now. I'm just don't get offended, guys. I'm just saying. But let your scalp breathe. That's all I'm gonna say.
You know, that. So, and that's what's beautiful about, like, with women in South Africa, because there's so many regions. There's a region, there's a region, there's a mountainous region, there's a low-lying region, and you know, you get a very, very diverse group of people. 9 different languages, that an official language. People have, so it's beautiful. One may be different, and when you wanting to think that you're guys people really get westernized on just thing.
Okay.
They do that thing.
We're having a problem with the connection. I'm not hearing anything.
in the way they start styling their hair for events like that, you can see how people really identify.
Well, that connection, let's wait for the brother to get back. So, Mansa Musa, I've seen some of the most beautiful women in my life in South Africa. Brothers, do yourself a favor and take a visit. Well, hey, do what you got to do now. Do what you got to do. I find that Black people are beautiful no matter. I've seen some beautiful Kenyans. I've seen beautiful Brazilians. I've seen beautiful Jamaicans. I've seen beautiful Ghanaian. Let me tell y'all, I saw this one Ghanaian sister. I don't know if she was a spirit or if she was a real person, but her skin was the smoothest, beautiful Black skin I ever seen in my life, and she was pregnant. And I was passing her on the sidewalk. She had a natural hair. This was probably one of the most beautifulest Black women I'd ever seen in my whole life with my own two eyes. And I didn't want to stare at her like a weirdo or like I was, gay or anything. It was just that she was pretty. So I'm walking past her and I'm thinking to myself, my God, that woman is beautiful. You know what I mean? And then she had this glow about herself, and she was pregnant too. And I don't know, but when I turned around, because I wanted to turn around to try to look at her face again, I didn't see her. And I'm like, what the hell was that? But this woman was absolutely gorgeous, breathtaking. And with the prettiest Black charcoal skin I'd ever seen in my life. Brother, you back. Glad you back. So you were saying about let me tell you what we didn't hear. You were talking about the different areas, the varieties of people, the mountainous, the low-lying areas, and then it just started breaking up.
Okay. Yeah, in South Africa, they got many topographical locations, like Durban around that area. It's a beach area and everything, but the minute you leave the beach, it's nothing but mountains. And then we've got those high-veld areas near Pretoria and Johannesburg, high altitude, 1,600 meters, and it's almost as high as Denver. It's like 4,600 feet in the air, the whole entire city. Then you've got like Cape Town in the Western Cape. It's southwest, all the way at the very tip of Africa, very colder regions. So you get these different regions, these different people. You've got 9 principal languages that are ethnic languages, 11 official languages. So each one of them has their own culture, their own ethnic practices, their own decorum that they have, their own ways of doing their weddings. So you find that when we have events and everything else, all of that Africanness comes out. It's not that wearing the Nike, shirt and, some Burberry pants or something like that is the norm, or that's what's considered hot. That is cool for when you're hanging out in Johannesburg and trying to be cute around regular people. But when people are trying to display their beauty, the hotness of South Africa, we go ethnic, big time. People with the hats, with the colors, with the beads, with all these kind of things. So people aren't running away from their culture here. And the nice thing is that people are quick to try to teach it to you. Like, don't worry. Yeah. You must marry a South African, and when you do, we'll show you the dances, and we'll show you how to do this, and you'll pay lobola, you'll do all these kind of things, because that's part of the culture. And what's nice is that people are very much embracing their culture, and they're happy to teach it to you. It's not a secret. It's not like, hey, we gotta go outsiders. We're not allowed to teach you Zulu. Zulus will try to teach you Zulu any day, anywhere. They actually expect you to speak to them in Zulu. And if you can't, then okay, they'll take English, no problem. But
and Brother Kahlil,
they tell everybody, Zulu's easy to learn. Zulu's the easiest language to learn,
Mm-hmm. No, I was going to say about what you're saying, because so many times I hear Black Americans say, they don't like us, or they don't want us, they don't consider us African. And I'm like, where do you get this from? Because, it's mind-boggling to me when I hear Black people say that, because even in the United States, before I started going to Africa, I was hanging around Nigerians, Cameroonians, everybody, Ivorians, and they all have been that way. They all are so embracing. They love it when you want to learn about their culture. They're very willing to teach you things. to show you things, and they love it when you want to know. So I never understood when black Americans say, oh, they don't like us, they don't consider us Africans, because I'm like, where do you get that from? You know what I mean? And you've not experienced that at all. Is that true?
No lie, true story. I got a job in DC, and I worked for Tompkins Brothers. I don't care who they are. And when I was there, I was planning to go to South Africa that February in 2007. And this guy named George, he's like the superintendent, bricklaying, racist white guy. He's like, you want to go to Africa for what? They don't want you there. They know you're not from there. You're an American. You go there, they're going to look at you like you're crazy. You got more in common with a white guy, you know, in Capitol Hill than you do with an African in South Africa. You know, and what's funny is that white people push that stereotype, not black people, because black people never been. And then the black people that have been there, they never come back with that story. But white people that have never been will be the first person to tell you that, they don't want you. You know, and it's crazy because that's why I used to tell you, like, you want to feel like you're a celebrity. If you want to feel like, you know, somebody cares about you and thinks that you're cool and would like to know everything about you, go to Africa, because they are dying to hear the stories that we got. They want to see, you know, stereotypical, if there's really grandmothers like Medea. There's really guys like, did Tyler Perry really build Atlanta? You know, does Jay-Z really come from a project, you know, with roaches and rats? You know, like they love that kind of stuff. And, you know, it's just an exchange of culture. You know, they love to hear how we struggled but still did well. How like we had nothing, but we still made great music, you know? Like, people are always asking me, like, so who created hip hop? Was it Tupac? You know, it's like, nah, man. Tupac's like born in 71. You know, hip hop was already out before he was even a kid, you know, and it's like people here, they love music from America. They love singers from America, especially. They're always like, you guys, you got the best singers and everything. And I'm like, hey, I heard a girl could blow Beyonce off the stage on SA Idols. You know, it's a matter of exposure more than it's talent. And then they love it when I tell them, like, hey, black people around the world are the same. Don't think that we're special in America. That we may have had a different experience, but I can find somebody just like you in America, and you'd be surprised. Yeah. And funny enough, this is going to catch you off guard. In South Africa, South Africans and Black Americans, Africans in America, we have a very similar. We look alike. You can find your twin in South Africa. I tell people all the time, if I dropped you off in New York City in the subway, you would be like, yo, I get the L train, yo, like, and you look at them because you're like, Kunjani, like, you'd be confused, like, what do you mean? Like, I'm not from here, I'm foreign. We just look alike, you know, and then we've got that mixed culture of people that they like to call them coloreds. I still call them black. You know, like, they look like Chris Brown. They look like Alicia Keys. They look like Rihanna. Like Big Ring is like twins, you know. And then we've got people that are from, like, from KwaZulu-Natal that are Zulus. We have light-skinned and dark-skinned Zulus, and they don't have white people in their family. Right. You know, and range. I know. They just range in color. So the same way we are. If you had to come to South Africa, I could find a woman that looks exactly like you. Yeah.
Are you talking about? I know the Sankoi. I think I'm pronouncing that right. They're indigenous Africans in the south, in the southern region of Africa, Botswana, South Africa. They are light-skinned black people, naturally light-skinned black people, and they're not mixed with white. They are just light-skinned black people. You know, so I know what you're talking about. And there's they're genetically, they're some of the oldest human beings on the planet Earth, and they're not mixed with white people, and they're light-skinned. Being African don't mean we got all type of phenotype. We come in all shades from the Sudan to the blackest night all the way to the Sankoi in the South who are light skinned, but they all 100% black people. So we have to do better about educating ourselves too about our people. And then I wanted to tell you, you are right about the thing. When you are American and you are in Africa, my kids had this experience. My daughter, when she was 17 years old when she went and she got into cosmetology school, and the girls literally, that was the first, and it happened to me too as an adult. They would just ask you if they know you're American. They would just come up to you and say, "Can I be your friend?" They want to be your friend because they want to talk. They want to ask you something. They want to learn about you. You know what I mean? The fact that you are from America, that you're a Black person from America, they want to be your friend. So you're absolutely right, brother. A lot of people are asking for you to speak on what they see in the media in terms of the xenophobia. Can you address that?
Yeah. Woo! All right. I'm gonna have to give y'all some bad news. You know, like with xenophobia, it's like this sickness of ignorance. You know, like it's this thing, and it's so embarrassing. But I ain't gonna no truth or whatever else. I was here 2014 when they were busy fighting the people in a certain part of KwaZulu-Natal. It's near Newcastle, another place. I was actually right down the hill from them in Sibongile. And my parents, they call me, they're like, "Hey, we heard they're burning foreigners. Are you fine?" My father's like, you got a gun." And I'm like, "Nah, let me house some people and see what's going on."
Uh-oh, we're breaking up again. Break up again. Why we get it back? Cheryl, you asked me, was I drinking solo? Cheryl, no. I do have some solo in this house that my husband made.
I walked up about some other stuff. Am I good? Do I need?
It's breaking up.
Hey, I think I'm off.
Cheryl, this is not solo. This is Is it coming back? Hold on. Cheryl, I don't know why you're trying to put me on blast anyway, Cheryl. Cheryl, this is not solo, ma'am. This is vodka with cranberry juice. Sista Yaa ain't gonna never tell you no damn lie. I'm telling you the truth. That's vodka with cranberry juice. My husband brought me a bottle of vodka yesterday. and a container of cranberry juice. And so that's what I'm sipping on as I'm talking to you all and enjoying y'all's company. All right. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. All right, guys. Cheryl said, every day I saw one of my cousins in Ghana. You know, I think for me, it's the Nigerians, honestly. I'm convinced that my family is, I watch a lot of Nigerian movies, and I'm telling you, I always find people in the movie that look just like some of my family members, like identical. So, I mean, facial structure, everything. So, you said, Cheryl, you said my drink is close enough. Okay. All right, brother. What were you saying? It went out. You were saying something.
Yeah. So, you know, sadly, this is embarrassing, but I'm gonna tell you the truth. I ain't gonna pull no punches.
We want the truth. We need the truth.
This conditional tribalism. Yeah, we got this local tribalism that has festered into violence and craziness. Because people come from, like, you know, economy is kind of hot down here in South Africa as compared to the surrounding area. So people get this notion that if somebody from Zimbabwe comes here and gets a job, they're taking a job from a South African, or that they'll accept lower wages, or that they'll do anything for a small amount of money. And especially in KwaZulu-Natal, Zulus don't play. I don't know if y'all know about real Zulus, if you ever met them. they are not the soft type of people. They do not solve their differences by talking loudly and pointing fingers. They get down. So they're not the type of people to trifle with, period. I mean, they're a tough group of warrior kind of people. So when it comes to them, they're also a very stubborn ass people. I mean, sometimes trying to convince them that something is extreme, they don't believe. If you tell them, you could die from this, they're like, you're scared of dying? I'm not scared of dying. I can die tomorrow. I can die today. I can die anytime. Nobody's scared of dying. I do what I want to do. So when it comes to the xenophobic thing, they feel as though they tell these white people, we're going to do it for this amount, and you're going to pay us this amount, or nobody's going to work. And they're hard to deal with. They show up on Tuesday instead of Monday. They do their own thing. They're a very free-spirited people. And people, when you're traveling and you're looking for work, you come from Zim, and Zim hasn't had a real economy in 10 years. Bread, that you strike. Screw that white guy. Forget those Indian people. Forget these people. We're not working. The Zim people will be like, well, look, I got to keep the lights on. The people I'm renting from, they want money. They don't care about a strike. I don't own land like you people do. And, Zulus don't play. Zulus always got land. There's no Zulu in KwaZulu-Natal doesn't have his own lot or his mother's lot or his father's lot. So they can take that stance and do as they please. And Mozambicans and Zimbabweans that have traveled, that have come here, they are more desperate to do work. So what happens is it becomes a conflict politically, and then someone hypes it up. There's a radio guy that says it. There's a person in the church that says it. There's a community drunkard that says it. And they incite each other up to that, if these people weren't here, we could do what we want. If these people weren't here, cowtailing and begging and stuff, we'd be able to do as we please. And rather than going and saying, look, we've got to have a united front. Y'all got to be on our side. Y'all can't be on white people's side. Y'all can't be on these rich Indian side. Y'all got to be with us, solidarity, 100%, or y'all got to go. They never had that conversation. They go show up at their place, kick their shack in and burn them. They go in and beat them, slap them around, kill them. They don't play with them. It's not like, it's a little tough talking over else. They will go and rob a store and stab the guy to death, take all this stuff. Other people, they just promote violence on any level. They just have a day where they've had it up to here. In South Africa, we call it being crossed. They get crossed with people, they're upset, and whoever's around gets it. It's like being on 86th Street in Compton and the Crips and Bloods are fighting. It's what it's like. It's like people show up and whoever's outside, everybody gets killed. It's like spraying up the block. It's like Park Heights and Emerson Avenue in Baltimore. Somebody from Park Heights beat up some kid from this place in high school. They find out the Park Heights people are coming down Emerson Avenue too much, and now it's going to be a fight. It's exactly the same insanity that we're used to. And it's because it's not so prevalent in Africa until it makes CNN. South Africa's like, it's their first time in the region in history having something like this happen in modern times. You couldn't have come out of 60 years of legal apartheid after 200 years of being colonized, and in 20 years you're deciding to kill your neighbors. We can't fathom that. We can't think that we've sunk that low. The way that Zimbabweans helped out South Africans, in the apartheid struggle, the way they gave them arms, they trained them, they let them run into the country in exile. They helped them get from exile in Zimbabwe to other places. You got to understand that the South African government of the Nationalist Party and apartheid used to go up and blow places up in Zimbabwe, tear up their train line because they're helping out South Africans. Now, 20 years later, it's like you forgot. Like everybody forgot, the whole region helped bring that white regime to their knees. The whole region helped get them out of power. And now 20 years later, Mozambique is struggling big time. Like economically, Mozambique has the most busy port in all of Africa, and there's no business. There's no economy. Zimbabwe, they got spited by their white minority. They absolutely just closed all the stores and said, if we can have land, y'all can have stores. And then they have a trade block, which South Africa sometimes contributes in.
Yeah. He giving y'all that real black talk. That real black talk. I hope y'all paying attention. That real black talk. And it's the same with Nigeria too. Nigeria helped in the fight for freedom in South Africa. But Nigerians, from what I understand, are not welcomed and maltreated. That's the code in Nigeria for scamming. So whenever you hear somebody say 419, they're like, oh, that's a 419, that's a scam. And that word is, unfortunately, when people say 419, they automatically mean talking about a Nigerian. But hey, unfortunately, we do have our Nigerian brothers. A lot of them go around into other countries doing this shit and giving a bad reputation. And then that has to be, but it's 200, what is that? Damn near 250 million Nigerians. I'm talking just in Nigeria. That's not even the ones that's outside of the country. So chances are, you're going just like they damn near the size of the American population. So you're going to have some more of them that are going to be doing something that they shouldn't be doing. And of course, media propaganda, they're going to just say Nigerian. Now everybody has a negative thing in their mind about Nigerians. Okay, you back, brother. So,
what? So about Nigerians though, woo! All right, Nigerians though, they're not flying their flag very high. Sorry, what'd you say?
No, go ahead.
All right, so when it comes to Nigerians, like I've got friends that are Nigerians, and I've also got people that tried to steal my identity that are my friends as Nigerians. Like I've got people that have tried to steal my passports as Nigerians. I need the people in Nigeria to, all of their bad cousins and their family members that ain't shit. Like they need to call them back and reconcile them because they are around the world doing nonsense. It's like if you could get Pookie and Ray Ray and the dudes that sell crack and hustle and the guys that are trying to promote prostitutes and hoes on the street, if all of them left the country and went everywhere. That's what Nigeria is like. You get like 2-3 doctors that are amazing scholars and then 60-70 hoodlums. It's like come on now, like how come y'all can't keep the hoodlums there?
It's true. I mean, it's true because you go to Europe, the top ones and that excel in terms of education, medicine, are Nigerians, but then the ones who are also doing all the bad.
Yeah, like it's a hard sale when it comes to them. Like, and Nigerians, genetically, phenotypically, they're a big group of guys. There's some 6-footers in there. Like big 120 kgs, big 200 pound guys look like rugby players and football players. And South African people, they range in size, but most of them are like, a shorter size. We get them big boy Zulus, but, most of the people are smaller. So they also try to walk. Yeah, so like, globally, like I remember when I was in engineering school in Morgan, the top 2 people in my calculus class were both Nigerians. And like whenever you go to that class and like the 4 or 5 of them are in that class, it ain't gonna be no curve. You're gonna have to get an A if you want an A. And they always in the top 90s. They send like their best and brightest to America. It's like the Nigerians that come to America, they come from wealthy families or people that were well educated. And the rest of the world, that ain't who they get. they get everybody else.
Let me tell you something.
Because they're the most densely populated country in all of Africa, you get a range of Nigerians. You don't get like just this group or just that group. And people always want to stereotype them, but you really got to do them like you do everybody else. You got to take them one at a time. You know,
exactly. Because ultimately, I think it has to do with the fact that there's more. So,
like, you know,
them.
like for me, that whole xenophobic thing, it's like that bad stain in South Africa. You know, it's the one thing that we are like, yeah, you think your place so perfect. What about that xenophobic thing? But also, they give a pass to some people.
I think there's a little bit of a delay, guys.
Exactly. So when it comes to like the other nations, like Ethiopians have been getting a real hard time lately. Somalians also. You know, a lot of them, they pool their resources to open up small shops in townships. And then it seems like they're competing against the black businesses and they collude to do prices. You know, and black people, we're not stupid. You know, we know that you guys are buying bulk and then going through and you're lowering the prices so that as soon as the black stuff goes out of business, you then turn around and hike up the prices. You know, and then people here, they don't play that. Like this one guy, I can't remember, he was from either Bangladesh or India. He shot a kid in Soweto that he said was stealing from the store. The kid was 15 and he was unarmed and he wasn't even stealing. I don't even know what it was. And we had a huge riots. They went through and they went and burned all the foreign people's stores, going down the line, going through. You know, and I think that people, they take for granted South Africans' niceness, generosity, how much people like to chill and be nice. When people get angry here, they get angry for real. They don't get angry to play. They don't get angry to talk a little bit. They get angry to kill. And because people are so good-natured, people are so nice, and people are so accommodating, these Somalians, they've got a shop in a South African person's yard. You know, the South African person allowed them to open up a shop there so they could sell their stuff. So in one way, you're accommodating, but at the same time, you're giving that guy small rent so that you can put another guy to business. And they're thinking about it too capitalistically when in a neighborhood, people don't think like that. People feel like, oh, we allowed you in. And we had this scandal where they were making counterfeit food and spices. They were printing labels and putting fake spices in them. They were taking loaves of bread and they take 2 slices out the loaf and selling the loaf short to everybody and doubling up their profit. And when people found out, they went crazy. You know, they're like, how dare you people sell us fake ass food when we let you in our neighborhood to sell it?
Yeah.
And that kind of just brazen audacity to think that, oh, you know, black people, all they do is just drink and they like chasing girls, so they don't care. We give them anything. And then when the stores are on fire, everybody's like, no, you guys, you're racist. It's so wrong. It's like, no, you guys forgot. Y'all was selling us loaves of bread too short. Like, we're stupid.
Right.
You know, and that kind of brazen kind of white people audacity is what people sometimes turn towards black South Africans. They think, oh, you guys, you just like Castle Light and Black Label. You just want to drink and make babies and whatever else. And they don't get that underlying whatever problems we may have as a people, we still expect the same respect that we give you to get it back.
Right.
And people are disrespectful to South Africans because they think low of them.
Right. Oh, shoot. I wanted to get into dating in South Africa. What's going on? Intercultural relationships. So we just gonna wait for him to come back because I know y'all nose ass want to know about that. Because I do. I'm nosy too. I want to know. So we gonna wait for him to come back and talk about these intercultural relationships in South Africa, and if he has dated or married a South African and what's that like. So y'all just hold tight. I know y'all ain't going nowhere because y'all want to know. I mean, I ain't going nowhere. I'm going to sit here until he get his internet back because I want to know. Let's see some of the comments here. Let me see. Well, Immortal Strength said, what's the solution going forward? Education. I mean, that's the only solution. We need more Pan-African schools throughout Africa that teach us from an African-centered perspective, and to teach us that while our brothers and sisters from different countries may have slightly different cultures, different languages, that we are still one people, and that we must unite with each other against all others who don't care if we are Zulu, or if we are Airway, or if we are Igbo, or if we are Yoruba, or if we are Mende. They don't care, because all they see is black. So we have to get it together as black people, and it starts with education. So we got to get these schools together and start with the babies, because unfortunately, I don't have a lot of faith in old people. I would say that they are set in their ways, but if we get to the babies, then we got something to work with. So let's see if our brother is back. Internet. He said, I want to know too. I ain't too old to love. All right, Bessie. More. Let's see. Kahlil.
I think I'm back.
Okay, we'll try it this way. I don't know. Do you think we should keep the cam on, or you should turn your cam off and just use audio? What do you think?
No, I think it's fine. I just keep losing signal completely. So, and then now I think I'm in a good spot.
Okay. All right. So
this was probably better if I had done it yesterday. The place that I live in Durban, like the signal is really, really strong. And the place that I'm at in Soweto, it's not so strong. So it's just a change of venue. It gets you sometimes.
I got you.
But no worries.
Well, we'll always bring you back. But the people want to know about love, intercultural Black relationships in South Africa. So are the South Africans open to marriage and gosh.
Sorry, I just switched off the camera. I'm trying to make sure I get your question.
Okay. Are the South Africans open to dating and marriage with Blacks from other places like America, or foreign with other Blacks?
Hell yeah. I think the main thing that carries over about Black people here is, especially South Africans are into getting married.
Well, we just gotta wait. Yes, he's in Soweto. He drove from Durban to Soweto on yesterday when I was talking to him. Oh, no, he got there earlier today. He left early this morning and arrived. And so he's in Soweto.
Hello. Hello. All right. Gonna have a little trouble seeing me, but it's all good.
Okay.
All right, now, all right.
So
I'm gonna stay right where I am now. All right. This is a two-sided thing, so I want to express that this is what I've seen and how it goes. When it comes to the men are very much against men from other countries coming to marry Black South African women. they are very much against that. They don't like that at all. And it's because they have a very bad reputation that they earned. They earned that bad reputation of not taking care of their women, of not being good men, of cheating and making babies everywhere and acting like a complete group of assholes. Some of them. And then because of that, on the flip side, women are very open to the idea. They want to know, can they get that storybook kind of love from TV? They want to know if they can be like the Facebook couples that are online posting together and making kissy videos and pictures together, people that hold hands together, people that, try to be affectionate and loving to each other all the time. And because a lot of South African men have earned that really bad reputation, women don't want that anymore. They want men to act like gentlemen. And guys are like, for what? What do I need to do all that romance? I'm not from Rome. They're full of crap about it. So when it comes to for the brothers that want to come this side, I mean, it's some of the most beautiful women in the world and some of the most loving women in the world. Women that are more than willing to speak and be responsible about things and sit down and talk with you and see what you're about and then balance out your relationships. They're in so many ways, they're like women in America that are in the South, for instance. They're trying so hard to be good Black women to Black men. They're trying super duper hard. And a lot of ways, Black men are making it hard for them. So the men, though, the problem with that is, like, when I first rolled into Soweto, I'm like 6'2". I can't tell if you can tell how tall I am, and I'm tall, my hair's long, I'm different, and I have very clear English. I have no kind of accent. They were like, hey, you better not be coming here to come take our women. We will chase you up out of here. And I laugh like, yeah, whatever. No, nobody wants your ugly wife. It's fine, whatever. But it's a joking thing, but they're serious about it.
Yeah.
The wrong person, the wrong issue, somebody's ex. They will gladly get the boys together and come beat the hell out of you. Or at least try.
Wow.
And then because of that, Zulus feel as though
this is good stuff in the damn internet. I want to go off. Ain't this some shit? Come on back on here now. We were just going to say something interesting. I want to hear it. I'm married, so I'm not looking for nothing. But I'm just saying, I want to hear it because I'm nosy. Come on back in here. Let's see here. Yusef said he's looking for true love. Sia Bonga asking which part of Soweto he is. Well, I mean, I will see what he says and see. Jessica loving to get the real tea. That's what I'm saying. I want to know what's up. You know what I'm saying? I want to know. What he needs to get up and get on back up in here so we can. I want to hear that part he was just about to get ready to say because I feel like it was going to be interesting. So, that would come on Right. He was right about to get to the good part. Exactly. Y'all a mess. Yourself. You say you hope they haven't messed up you. You
So
said we said that
yeah,
looking
can you
for
hear me?
some good men.
Yeah,
Yes, we can
so you
hear
know,
you.
like
You were just about to say something juicy.
for a guy that's, you know, trying to avoid chickenheadism and, you know, like nonsense relationships and bird mentality and that lostness that sometimes you're not accustomed to. You know, I have to tell all the brothers the truth. Women, they're the same everywhere. Sorry. Like, you know, you can find a woman that's pro-black, that's conscious, that's about that real life here, the same way you can find them there. You know, the same way you can find a woman that likes to cook and can burn it down in the kitchen, you can find them here. You know, but people here have been raised to be respectful. That's the main thing. A woman will not try to wild out on you in the middle of the store over you picking Sprite instead of a Coke. They don't do stuff like that. But if you treat them like shit and you act like shit, oh, they come back to you on the bad side big time. So uh, we had this whole little lame poll that was a big thing on Facebook a few years ago about which African country had the best women. And, you know, like they said that South Africans were number 2 because of their loving nature and how they like to nurture men and take care of them and do all those good things. But they couldn't be number 1 because they're the most cheating. So they cheat the most. so like,
Oh,
you
wow.
know, you mess up with a black woman here, she'll go get another dude on you in a minute. Like it's nothing. She'll keep you. She'll keep you. She'll let you keep paying the bills. You keep taking care of the kids, and she'll get somebody else. Like you cannot half step here. But and that's if you mess up though. Usually off the beginning, they're good. And because like, you know, this whole hashtag men ain't shit thing is going around the world, they're like, yeah, actually, actually, you know, these guys, they really are dogs. These guys really aren't the married type. These guys really aren't taking care of us. They're talking bad about us, but what do they do? So we've got the same kind of gender clash, and it comes from so many different things. It comes from economics as well. You know, black women, my sisters, I got to give it to y'all. Globally, y'all are killing it. In South Africa as well. At the top of the class, most graduating classes in high school. Biggest graduates coming out of university right now is black women. So black women are positioning themselves in a point of leadership and power and influence. And black men are trying to be like, nah, after you get that good job and everything, when it's time to have these kids, you stay your ass home. And they're like, yeah, but if I stay home, who's taking care of the house and everything else? So women are wanting to step up and be like, look, let's both have a role. Why is it that I'm in the footstool because you're a man and you didn't even finish school, didn't even do nothing? Like, if you want to be that man, step up. And because of that, the guys that got dough and the guys that got influence, they're in the government, they got the Mercedes, they got the foreign clothes and stuff like that. I mean, they have their run of the mill, and they're not good about it. They're not like, let me find the most beautiful girl on TV and get married. They got a girl here and a girl there and 10 girls over here, and they take the girls to the ANC conference and they take the girls to Durban. They're bad on that level. That people are bad here. It's not that the culture is monogamy anymore. People are finding that way out of it. And then, you know, I love South Africans, but they make getting married real damn hard too. Like, you got to go meet the family and bring your family. You got to pay lobola. It's supposed to be in cows, but they take money now. And the amounts of money just keep getting higher. They got this stupid little page where you write down a brief description of yourself, answer some questions, and they tell you how much lobola you should expect. Some of them, they're 85,000 rands. It's like $5,000. You know, of money you have to give or you pay for the wedding. You know, and you know, so it's so many things that are discouraging to a guy that doesn't have money like that, who doesn't have a family that's willing to support. It doesn't have uncles and parents that'll put the money up, and the hyper materialism of it is now getting out of hand. But also, you've got women that have got advanced degrees and master's degrees and PhDs. Their parents are like, look, I paid, you know, $30,000 to put my daughter through school. not so she can come take care of your sorry ass. Like, you know, and his fathers are like, nah, like I raised her. I'm the reason she ain't got 5-6 kids. You wanted a good woman. She's a good woman. What do you bring to the table?
Right.
So it's not.
I mean, and listen, I can understand. Listen, I can't even argue with that. Honestly, I mean, because we've gotten so far away from the traditional way of, you know, a lot. You know, I don't know, this thing now with women. All women should be educated. Let me just say this: women need to be educated just like men. But with that, we've gotten there's a mentality that have come along with that. That, you know, like, we don't need a man, I can take care of myself, this type of thing. And I'm of the mindset that if you're a black woman, you do need a black man. You need one. Sure. You know, that's your protection. That's your children's protection. If anything, that's what it should be. If he's not that, then he ain't. I don't really consider him a black man. The black man is your protection, and so that's the you know, for the family. So we don't ever want to get into a mindset that we don't need a man, we don't need a good brother, anything. And I can understand. I have a daughter, and she's 22, going on 23 years old. And so as a parent, I'm looking at it like this. Nobody is going to marry my daughter and take her somewhere, and she's going to be struggling and in poverty and fucked up. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to. I mean, it's just not going to happen. I need to know that if you're going to take my daughter, that she's going to be okay. That one, you're going to protect her, and one, you're going to make sure she's okay. You know, so as a parent, I understand that. And although I'm not necessarily, my husband is saying that we do have to collect what they, you know, we do have to. My husband's Ghanaian, and so he said we do have to collect. You know, that's just the way it is. You know, something. It could be not necessarily money though, but cloth, something. You have to give something. You know, and this is just a way of showing that you have resources or means, or that you're serious. You're making a commitment to this family and to their daughter. You know, so I'm like, I'm okay with it. I'm not messed up with it. But
it's an African thing, and it's African across the continent. Only people that don't participate in that are Arabs and outsiders. Truthfully, I mean, I thought that it was a South African thing. To the Nigerians told me, then the Ghanaians told me, then the people from Congo told me, then the people from Kenya told me. Like, we're still all one people, no matter who drew the little black lines on the map. And when you start finding out that you meet people from Congo, and when they're speaking, I can't remember the name of this language. My homeboy's from Kinshasa, but he can speak 50, 60 words that's in Shona. Shona is the language from Zimbabwe. And from Zimbabwe, they speak another like 200 words that are actually in Zulu. They're technically the same people. Yeah. Same exact people, same language with a little change in dialect. So they pass that on culturally. What I find is that South Africans are moving more towards the West when it comes to dating. One, they're watching too much TV and too much online stuff, but they're feeling the pressure of modern society and of the world changing into these go for self ass people. These people that are only for self. These little boys that think that they're all going to be little porn stars, and the only thing they're going to do is try everything they've seen on TV and hop from girl to girl because that's what rappers say. You know, and these ladies that are go for self, like, I ain't going to allow nobody treat me like nothing. He going to have to be a ball player to be my man. I got to be able to fly around the world and go to Dubai and everything else. And we're losing that sense of family that we used to have. And what's hilarious is that when you talk to South Africans, they're like, oh, if you want a wife, no, you can't go to the city. Don't go to the city. Don't talk to these city girls. You must go to the rural area. You'll find a good wife there, someone that listens. You know, and the ladies also, they're like, you can't talk to none of these little cheese boys that call them F boys. These little F boys from Johannesburg, these privileged boys. Go out to Venda in northern Limpopo. You'll find a good boy with nice teeth He respects his mama. He goes to church. You know, he'll pay the lobola. He'll take care of you. He'll never expect you ever to work. And it's true. Guys that are not from the city and haven't been influenced by this westernized nonsense, they know that they have to take care of a woman. They don't even dream that their woman would leave their kid in daycare at 2 months old and go to work. And also, they're honest about it. They don't even date girls from college. Like, I mean, you're going to be a professional. So when I want to have my 5, 6, 7, 8 kids, or however many that I get lucky enough to have, how are you going to work and raise them? He expects that you know your role because he 100% knows his. He knows, like vendor guys, we make fun of them because they're so funny. They're such mama's boys. But vendor guys know that they have to be home by 7. You don't hear about a vendor guy being out at a club at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's a rural area way north, you know, and they have that sense that their first priority,
family is priority.
You know, bring that ass home, bring the food home, bring the money home. You know, like we make fun of like vendor guys. They say that they just take the whole check and they give it to the woman, and then the woman distributes the money. Even Zulu guys, some of them, you give the woman all the money, and she takes care of all the bills, everything in the house. And she gives you money to go drink and play with. And that's part of the culture also. People are trying to dance away from that part because, you know, you take away the money, you can't go impress the little young girls with it. And there you are in trouble. So because of that, the erosion of that culture, whenever it's like wedding seasons, like December, you know, summertime this side, because we are opposite seasons, when the weddings start to roll out and people start to see these people going down in the gowns and the dresses, they see these happy couples there. You see them everywhere together. It hits you again, and you're like, you know what? I'm living like a dirty little boy now. I need to get married. I need to do stuff. And we're hoping that people haven't already destroyed their stock by having a baby here, having a baby there, doing all this nonsense. The ladies having a baby with this guy, baby with that guy, being in and out the clinic. They haven't destroyed their stock so that when they meet each other and they're ready, they haven't made a huge burden for the next person, you know. And it's hard to try to talk to young people about that. Like one of the things I do with the young men I meet, I always meet these because, you know, I'm 40 years old. I've been in construction for 14 years now. So like when the kids that are studying engineering and they're looking for interns, they always come find me like, you know, I want to know how to do stuff like you did in America and da-da-da. So we end up mentoring these young boys and everything. And I'm always like, hey, don't get married. Don't have any children till you finish college. They're like, no, you know, I don't want to be an old man with kids. I want my kids to still know me when I'm fresh. It's like, you don't get it. Like, it doesn't matter how fresh you are. Why would you get married knowing you don't have a house, knowing that you can't afford a car, knowing that you can't do anything? And I tell them, like, you understand, I got out of college late. I didn't get out of college early. I got out of college at 25, you know, and then I started traveling at 26. It is absolutely amazing to have all the money you need to be able to go wherever you want without having to report to nobody or having to worry about which kid you're going to take care of. Don't make those kind of decisions when you're young and stupid. Don't get married. Don't have no kids. Be who you're going to be as a grown-ass man first. Like even Dr. Francis Cress Welsing says, you shouldn't get married until you're 30. You shouldn't have any children until you're 35. You need to grow up to be whoever you're actually going to be before you go and partner yourself with somebody for life. And they got to deal with your ass the same way you got to deal with them. You got to be man enough to be like, you know what? I need to be the best man I can be first. And then I can go start a relationship. You know, you need to go in whole. And they feel that. They're like, yeah, you know, nobody tells us like that. Nobody breaks it down like that. But that's why we got Lobola, because you can't be 18 years old and you got 25 cows to give to somebody. You ain't got no cows. Your father got cows. Your uncle got some cows. But you ain't got shit. You know? And once you've got it and you can do it for yourself, then you can go and marry that girl that you love so much. You know, and it's these conditions that we set up as a culture that we set up a long time ago that eventually, like, you know, they catch up and we see exactly why we needed them. When the Western people come in and erode our culture, we're like, wait, we got to go back to the old way. The old way, we didn't have all this nonsense.
We didn't have, We had control of the children, even though the father may be working and out and doing stuff, and you in the house. The kids were still respectful of the father, because all your mom has to do is say, I'm gonna tell your father when your father gets home. Nobody wants to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Your daddy gonna tear your ass up. Exactly.
But I'm married to a Ghanaian now, and I was married 10 years before, and I can say this, and I'll be 50 this year. For y'all don't know, I know I still look young and fresh.
You ain't got no gray or nothing, girl. You go ahead.
But I am some people's grandmother. I will be 50 in September, and I can say this: I've been married now for 8 years in this marriage, and this, and it took me the first, I would say, 2 to 3 years. It was difficult because he came with very traditional family values, very traditional roles. Like, this is what women do, this is what men do. And it took me a minute, because I was like, why? You know what I mean? So, but and I was the one that was caught up. But when I began to sit back and realize, this was the first relationship I've been in that I didn't have to work. So I don't want to work. I don't have to worry about if I'm going to have somewhere to live. I don't have to worry about if I'm going to eat. I don't have to worry about if I'm going to have clothes and shoes. I don't have to worry about it. But and you know what I'm saying? But then there are certain things also expected in return for me not having to worry about those things. For me being able to stay at home and homeschool and do this thing. The things that I expected is clean house, cook, make sure when you come home from work, there's food there, not nagging, fussing about every damn thing. You know what I'm saying? And so I had to learn how to be a softer woman, more feminine, more catering. A lot of people, and I used to, and I still don't like this word. So people say submissive, and I'd be like, I'm not submissive. I don't submit to shit. You know what I'm saying? But what I had to realize was, I still don't like that word submissive. But what I come to realize is, he play his role, I play my role. We complement each other, and we have a harmonious relationship because everybody play their motherfucking role. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And
you find out all that stuff. You find out that you're better at that stuff anyway. Men that are controlling, they're like, look, I'm going to the store and I'm going to do this. I want stuff this way. You find out that they'd much rather relax and let you run it because you're better at it than them.
Exactly.
Making sure
and that's what I'm saying. Anything my husband tell you in a minute, anything pertaining to the house, that's her domain. You know what I mean? That's hers. Yeah. So right now we're building a house in Ghana, and he'll tell everybody, that's my wife's house. I'm building that for her. So, whatever you want in that house, just tell me. I will make sure it gets in that house because it's your house. So I never had anybody ever say those things to me. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But that he's coming from, yeah.
It's a cultural thing. So for that reason, when you find a man on the continent that is 100 right about his stuff, he's different. It's a cultural thing. It's things that you've got to learn about him. He learns about you. But that balance that comes from being on the planet the longest, being on the planet for the millions of years before these white people learned how to crawl and then walk, being able to look at how humans behave and then come up with a way that helps balance it out. We created all of that. You understand that we created marriage. Nobody got married before we did. I love joking with Kwesi. I tell him all the time, like, these people forever trying to show you a book with something in it, and we invented paper.
Right. And writing and letters. Yeah.
Writing and letters and math. Nobody knew how to do anything, in an organized fashion before we did. So if you're looking for the right way to be, the right way, the most productive way about going about something, you need to look to the continent first. Find something that works for you, and then immerse yourself in that culture, because people teach you how to be good people. There's no culture in Africa where they teach you how to be an asshole. They try to break you down. They try to make you basic. They try to, rid you of all the good stuff. Now they're reinforcing all those family values because they know the core of the society is family, and sometimes you got to be a man and go out there and, go get into the middle of some political stuff. Sometimes you've got to be the man that speaks up, even though your wife knows it better than you do. And then sometimes you got to be man enough to bring your wife in and be like, fellas, my wife, she actually understands this better than I do. Baby, break this down. And let us speak up and be like, yeah, so that's what we're going to do. And it's just part of it. What I find is that men are now willing to submit to some of these wild demands that modernized women have, because they understand that if they get that harmony, everything works out. Yeah, you might have to buy a Brazilian once. So just so she gets a chance to have that on her head, feel how stupid it is, feel like she is betraying her culture, feel like, she doesn't look like Beyonce, that this is stupid, and then let it go. You have to be part of her global personal growth rather than trying to control and point too much and everything else. I learned that the hard way. That's a whole nother story. But and so for that reason, when you come to the continent, and I want to stress this to people because I know we're having a big push, we're going to bring people over. First thing you got to do, empty your cup, shut your mouth, and learn about people that are here first. Don't bring that Baltimore bullshit over here. I love my people. I don't love Baltimore. I love my family. Like the Lassiter clan, the McClendons, the Masons, all of us. I love them to death because we were raised by the type of people that knew we need to be good human beings, and we are. But I would caution everybody: don't come over here like, yo, I'm bringing Brooklyn to the hood, chief. You ain't seen nothing. I'm at these people like saying, go Brooklyn over here. Nah, leave that Brooklyn bullshit there. You're not in the projects no more, and you don't ever need to live like that again. Take on that higher African standard. Find out what's high standard to people here, and then learn that. Learn the languages. Learn the little nuances. Like I'm not a person that's amazing in language. I'm great in math. So I learned how to greet, how to do things because it's a respect thing. First, respect the culture, respect the people. Don't come over here and think you're going to teach Africans about Africa. That shit is hilarious. Hilarious. That's one of my funniest things I find when people, these scholarly types and these I read every book in everyone's place types come over and they're like, yeah, I'm going to teach them about real African history. Like, huh? Calm down, bro. Calm down. Not only do they know their own history, they know it in 5, 6, 7 different languages. Right. They can tell you the people that happened where they are. My people's up the street in Soweto. I love them. They're forever jumping on my back about Mandela and how he was a sellout. And when we go to the Hector Peterson Museum, he was the second kid shot in the Youth Day massacre, June 16th, 1967. And they're like, that ain't how it happened. You people, y'all giving out falsehoods. We know the real history. We was there. Let me tell you what happened. And they've run it down. So you can't be in here like, yeah, but actually F.W. de Klerk, he deserved the Nobel Peace Prize because he avoided a civil war. Bullshit. That motherfucker killed 300-something people the year before they peace. So when they call him a mass murderer and call him out, you got to be quiet. Everybody has to say. Be quiet and hear that perspective, that real life lesson, what it is they got. Because these are the seed people, the same people that we left 400, 300, 200 years ago. You go to America, they maintain that story going. And they caught hell. It wasn't fucking vacation up in Africa while we were gone. And they felt that same hell that we got. What they retained is what we lost. And we got to be able to embrace that. Shut up. Learn it. Shut up and hear it. Immerse yourself in it. Respect it as it is. And then open your mouth and say something. Because that's what they do. Don't no African ever try to tell me about New York. It's hilarious. Nobody's ever like, I from Queens, him and Tony Yayo from Tennessee. And it's like, how the fuck did you know? You ever been to Tennessee? like we would be like that to them. We'd be like, the fuck you want to tell me about sagging pants and shit? That shit come from jail. He's like, well, actually, I heard that, people that came from South America sag their pants, or Mexicans sag their pants. It's like, fuck you know about some Mexicans? You don't even know what Mexico is. Shut up.
Right.
And because we would be like that to them, you've got to understand that they could be like that to you.
Yeah.
Shut up, learn everything else. Because we got 400 years worth of history to relearn, 400 years worth of culture to reacclimate ourselves to, and they're happy to teach us,
Right.
happy to tell us. And so we avoid another Liberia, avoid another one of those. That's a catastrophe in real history. We got to be able to let some of that American crap go. Some of that stuff that white people taught us, it's useless. It's good at getting your way in Walmart. It's not the way. Oh, yeah, there you are. You know, like it's hard for me to let that Baltimore shit go. Like for instance, South Africans like to stare. You know, like they just stare. They're a staring group of people. If there was a staring contest in the Olympics, South Africans would win, and the other people would be offended. Like they'd be upset. Like, hey, you stared at me a little too much. It's just a game. Like people stare, and I have to fight that urge to be like, yo, what the fuck are you looking at? Because that's a Baltimore thing. You gotta let that Baltimore, DC, New York shit go, and be like, you know what? Wave, say what's up, say Kunjani, say Lagai, say Dumela. And most of the time, people, they're just staring because, you know, I'm like 8 feet tall, you know, like, and I do have really long dreads, and, you know, I do look a little odd to be in South Africa. And when you're like, you know, hey, what's up? They're like, oh, no, sorry, I was admiring your dreads. Yo, your Rasta is like this, like, where are you from? You get to talk, and the next thing you know, you find out this person was just interested.
Yeah.
You know, people are like, oh, those I've never seen like a T-shirt as big as the one that you've got. Are you American? Are you Nigerian? You just gotta let that be and be like, yeah, you know, yeah, I'm actually from Baltimore. Okay, where's that? You know, and then have that conversation because it isn't malicious in nature.
That's what I've been saying. They don't mean no harm.
Offensive nature that we start acting like everybody treats us like white people do, and everybody treats us like the worst of us do, because we harden ourselves as well. And when you get to Africa, they're not like that in nature about us. They are genuinely intrigued. Find out what it is that they like to know in exchange. Don't come in like, you know, we the Eastern gods of DC. You know, we've been teaching, spreading the word since 1976. You know, where we come from, Amari Baraka. You know, stop dropping the names. They don't know who those people are. You know, all day long I introduce people to Dr. John Henry Clark. All day long I introduce people to, like, when I tell people there's a clinical psychologist that's a woman that teaches about, you know, being humane and being a good partner, Dr. Chris Wells, and they're always like, well, who's that? And we put them onto ISIS papers, and we put them onto the books. They're like, wow, like this is some serious stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And because of that exchange, they feel like, yeah, like you're interested in us, we're interested in you. We can have this kind of partnership. We can now live together. I never have a problem living around black people in South Africa, from the roughest of the townships to the, you know, the parts of Soweto. What do we call this? I can't remember the word right now, but these parts, I can comfortably go there. And because you're black, you've got the right uniform anyway. South Africans, Nigerians, they usually just assume that you're from here till you open your mouth. You know, and there's just not a malicious intent because they assume all of us black people are black. You know, when they're looking at the white people in India, they're seeing them. You know, so you've got to be able to immerse yourself. They don't ever make it like, yeah, you Americans, y'all better not show up here. We'll take your Rolex. Or we'll take your car. It's not like that. You know, not like it is in Park Heights. So
I mean, and I tell people all the time, I've never been afraid to go anywhere with black people. I go anywhere with black people. If you black, I'll go. I don't care. It could be the hood. It could be the where the poorest part. It could be the rich. I don't care. I fit in. I can fit in anywhere, and I'm never afraid of my people. So, yeah, I'm with you on that.
So yeah, that's what I really wanted to say. I'm glad we got there eventually. You know, empty your cup. It's important. You know, don't assume you know something. Because people don't speak brilliant English, don't start thinking that you're superior in some way. Don't start, you know, correcting people's English. Correct your Zulu first. You know, do that. You know, Get your Swana right. Get your Sutu straight before you start correcting people, and try to understand the culture and the history before you say anything. You know,
Right.
we have lots of things in South Africa that are bad that we didn't happen to touch on. You know, like seriously, we have a serious problem with sexual assault and rape in this country. The numbers are
that is. I've been seeing a lot of that.
And I like to tell
a lot of that. Yeah, that's I don't know. I mean, and that's an issue that I really want to figure out. Like, what is the source of that behavior, and how do we fix that? Because that is a problem in South Africa. That's a huge, major fucking problem.
And that's why I come over and be like, "Yo, I'm a woman. I'm free. I'm independent. I do what I want." It don't work like that. You've got to have that pack mentality that, okay, we go into the store, it's a little late. It needs to be 4 or 5 of us. You know, we need to have somebody on the phone walking out as we're talking, get a ride, have a guy roll with you, everything else, because they're predators. There's predators everywhere. Don't think because you come to Africa there aren't rapists. It's bullshit. Don't think because you come to Africa there aren't people that want to kill you and take your stuff. Robbers, burglars, thieves. We got all that stuff here. You know, and don't be naive to the point that you think it's all kumbaya about everything. It ain't. You still have to watch your back and align yourself with the right circles of people. The vast majority are good.
I got pickpocketed in Ghana.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they stole my damn phone right out of my damn purse, and I didn't even know it.
Sorry about that. It's one for the hood, man. You know, some people ain't struggling, and your phone, the lights on for the week. You know, that phone, it get bread for like 2-3 weeks out here because everybody will buy a phone. You know, sadly, like they busy talking on the little taxi vans and everything. Put the phone down, phone gone. People are like, you know, short left. Let me get off. They get off with your phone gone.
Somebody literally stuck their hand in my purse and took my phone out I was riding the you know, we had a little trotro, they call trotro buses. You know, get about 15, 20 people on. And I'm sitting there, I had my purse, but I guess I didn't know, whatever. But somebody literally took my, so when I got where I was going, phone was just gone. Gone. They took it. I was pickpocketed. So that was good too, because I didn't even feel it.
Yeah, you know, sometimes a little snug on there too. So, you know, that little nudge that you didn't pay attention to because it's a little tight. Yeah, it was in your pocket.
So now I don't carry purse when I leave the house. When I'm in Ghana, I don't care. I stick everything in here. Now you're gonna have to be good to go in my bra and take some shit without me feeling it.
Now that right there, that is African culture right there. All right, that's how you go to the store. You will never see an old lady with some big bag with dishes in it and all kinds of cosmetics, the money, the phone, everything's in there. Now if you can get your and get it back out, you good. If anybody catch you going,
if you can get all up in my bra and get it out, and I don't know it, you had that. You earned that shit.
So, see, that's culture there. If you go to the grands, they're like, oh no, you don't walk around with the phone. You don't do none of that. You put it in the 5th pocket right there. Young lady, right there. You're fine. You know? So in crime in Johannesburg is kind of, before this wild lockdown nonsense, crime was out of hand. I mean, if you're a 21-year-old girl walking around with a phone, I'd have snatched it right out your hand. You know, a good friend of mine, she lives in in Bryanston. It's next to Sandton. Sandton's the rich suburb, the richest square kilometer in Africa. And she works up the hill from there. She's walking on the phone. She literally is walking like 200 feet to her job. Guys hop out of a car with a gun to take her phone. Like, it's like that. So, you know, and I'm like, you know, you live in Sandton. You're not in Soweto no more. Like in Soweto, somebody hops out of a car with a gun and they get off the block without you yelling help. The whole neighborhood comes out, hits them with bricks, stops them. Like the hood mentality is, they steal from you, they steal from me, they steal from everybody. So everybody is collected in the place. When people are burglarizing people's houses and breaking in and stealing stuff. When they catch them, or they don't call the police, they beat the hell out that guy in the street.
That's
right where they are.
That's when they give you that damn tire with the fire. Listen, that was in my neighborhood in Ghana. All I heard this lady running out of the house. I'm like, robber. She said, I'm robber. But all you could see was everybody coming out with bats and clubs and bricks and sticks. And this guy, he could have probably beat Usain Bolt. But he went to sprinting on their ass and he got out of there, because if they'd have caught his ass, and they was trying to catch his ass. They was trying to catch his ass. You do not want to get caught stealing, taking some shit, doing some shit, because that damn mob mentality, that shit is real. They will fuck you up.
It is serious. It ain't no game.
Yeah.
So, like that's why people here, they have a sense of neighborhood and sense of family. Your neighbors know you. Your kids grow up together. They go to school together, especially in the township. Like you'd like to have a really nice house in the suburb, but white people, they make shit neighbors. White people in South Africa, they're such a small minority that you have to go to their area to see them. Otherwise, you have to be in a major city and you'll see them on the road in a car. Other than that, you really don't see them that often unless you really want to, or like a place with them. But they are so uptight about life in South Africa now. Like, it's so not what they want it to be, but they can't get the country back, so they just have to deal with it. And no matter how much they talk trash about the government and about corruption, all this kind of stuff, they know they can never live like they do here in that European dump that they come from.
Right.
They know they'll never own a mine. They'll never own a bank. They'll never own a store. They'll never have these gigantic houses and these big cars that the bank gladly gives them loans. That preferential lending thing, that's a white thing. They do that here too. Don't think you're going to come here and get a loan for anything. It ain't going to happen. It ain't. Come here with the realization that you're going to have to capitalize and make money and make industry the same way people here do it. Don't think you'll come over here and open a Nike store and import from China and think it's going to work. It don't work like that. The stuff that works here, if you're going to innovate, go for it. But get to learn, get to understand people. I'm one of those people, I did it the backwards way, the hard way. I came over with money and got a job and worked my way through, opening up my own business, and I still do more working for other people than I do for myself. But my construction business, it's slow, it does what it does. And then other times when I get contracts, I eat it up there. Americans, until they realize that, the government won't help them out. Like, you can't get a government contract. Those are strictly for Black South Africans. And then you end up like white people do. You want to get a Black South African as a business partner and have him be a silent partner. And when they find out, they drop you. Don't do business like white people. Don't do business like these rich Indians and these rich Asians do. Come over here and try to do business the way Black people do on the same level. And you'll never lose anybody's respect. Because you get whitelisted here, they whitewash you out. It's like you don't exist. It's like you're a white piece of paper and there's nothing on it. You're like that. You get on the shit list of the government over here, you stuck. You're not going nowhere.
Right.
And on the flip side of that, when you're on the good list, they want some money. They want some chocho, they want that bribe money. They want to make sure that we got a saying, they say you have to give the lion food to open his mouth. So if you want to talk to a bigwig, talk to the king, you got to put up money or he ain't even talk to you. It's all those kind of things. You're going to have to learn to navigate them, not to be taken for a suck and have somebody take your money, you get nothing. Not for people to take advantage of you, but learn the culture, do it correctly. Yourself. I don't know, the street light just went out. I guess it's tired of me talking too. but
it's almost 2 hours, brother.
I invite people to make that step. You are never going to feel like you're home, like you can build something, like something is yours, than when you are here. When you're here, the government don't come and be like, you know what, actually, we need this place for something. We're going to take this area. It don't work like that.
you'll have 1,000 screaming people like it ain't gonna happen. The whole neighborhood will show up to be like, no, you want to build a road over there. This place is for this. You've got land, it's your land. When you've got stuff, it's your stuff. People value that idea that this is the homestead for your family and it shouldn't be tampered with or tampered with.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, brother, we're going to have to bring you back because, man, it's been 2 hours and we know it's getting late for you over there. And we appreciate, all of the information. Huh? Can you hear me?
Hey, there you are.
Can you hear me?
All right, sorry, I have to stay in a perfect spot. Even my phone is on like 5%. I had to go outside to get a good signal.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and close it out. I can
stick you on the charger before it eats you. No, for sure. Thanks for inviting me on the show. I'm glad that I could hopefully spread my story and tell more people about it. Everybody encourage you, come home. It's time. You've been in that wasteland long enough.
Absolutely, absolutely. And definitely we'll bring you back for a part 2. So, because I know there's just so much more that you can share. But I know it's getting late and your phone is dying. And maybe when you get back to where was it, Durban? You get back there and you got good signal, and we can do a part 2. All right, guys. We're gonna close it out. It's been 2 hours. I hope y'all found this informative, educational, enlightening, and all those good stuff. If you haven't gone to the Sankofa Repatriation Assistance Program website on Facebook, please like the Facebook page, join us over there, as well as go and like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and tell everybody that we need to get those numbers up on the YouTube channel. If you haven't donated yet, go to the Sankofa Repatriation Assistance Program website at www.sankofarepat.com and hit the donate button and become a donor. We're trying to raise this money so we can get you all back home. Thank y'all so much. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. I love you all. Peace. Black power. Y'all take it easy. Bye-bye.